Basketball.
It's time to strap in and get ready. The Insight NBA team is in the arena, bringing you the ultimate play-by-play on who's hot and who's not to help you win your leagues and dominate your mates. You're now hooping with your hosts, Matty G, Skitty, and Mally for the Insight NBA show.
G'day everyone and welcome to the Insight NBA show. I am your host, Matty G. It is week 9, which means we are very fastly approaching the helter-skelter time where it is halfway through our fantasy seasons. We all know that most leagues, between weeks 18 to 20, we start to get to the end. So this is week 9. It is time to make moves, and it is also the week of the NBA Cup Final. There are a couple of anomalies, obviously, in the schedule this week. One, obviously, being the Cup Final, which does not count towards your points in your fantasy matchup. So this one here, we do not look for it to be the can I bring in my Bucks players? Can I do that? Can I bring in my OKC guys? Look, that might be a really good strategy if it counted. In fact, you could probably clamber to the wire to get that very, very easily, to get some guys early on to set yourself up with. But we do want to pay attention to the schedule and see what it tells us and see who else we can grab, because I do have a name that I know that I pulled up in a 20-man league last week. I pulled up one guy in particular who I will tell you about later, who didn't play the best. It was a good shout, but when 3-point percentage is a category in a 11-cat 20-man league, you've got to roll the dice, and it didn't come true despite a hot run. We're going to get to him and a whole bunch of the ads and break down all of those important factors. But the first thing we must do is the schedule. The schedule itself is there is 2 dark days, and that is Tuesday and Wednesday. They're dark, or they're blacked out here because there are absolutely no games. Yes, on Tuesdays there's the Cup Final, but it doesn't count. So don't worry about it. It's out. We can work for the Monday. It has 6 games, but then we are getting straight back into a couple of crammed games on Thursday and Saturday, 13 and 12 days respectively. And then we have 3 games on Friday and 3 games on Sunday. We're kind of looking at it as a bit of a red and green Merry Christmas kind of week in fantasy this week. But without the 2 games counting towards our fantasy schedules here, we're looking to get our volume on where we can. So let's go through the teams who have 4 teams this week, because there is one team that has 4 games. And this is the guy that I mentioned early, Kevin Huerter. He is the guy that is on my radar. Maybe Keon Ellis gets a bit of a nudge there. I'll go over my radar streams later on. But with the Kings, all 4 games at home, that's a pretty strong schedule for them. And it is the only team that you can make sure you can get 4 ads. Again, some of these will get to quality games very, very soon. But you can get a couple good games out of Kevin Huerter this week if he has good games. We do have to pay attention, though, to his shoulder injury update. So I'm going to check that out while we are live today on the pod. Getting into our 3-game teamers for the week. We obviously have here the Nets, the Hornets, the Bulls, the Cavs, the Nuggets, the Pistons, the Clips, the 76ers, the Raptors, and the Utah Jazz. These guys all have 3 games this week. So we have a few bunch of on the 3-gamers, but there is a lot more teams this week in the 2-gamers. And we're going to get down to that news very, very soon about Kevin Huerter. You can see him there in his Golden State Warriors uniform. So we've got the Hawks, the Celtics, the Mavs, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Pacers, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, and the Bucks. Conversely, also on to this week are the Timberwolves, the Knicks, the Thunder, the Magic, the Suns, the Trailblazers, the Spurs, and the Wizards. So these are our 2-game team weeks. So this is where we can see Kevin Huerter straight away. We have the opportunity to play him all 4 games, more than double what the lowest ranked teams are. Now, streaming-wise, you can hold him or toss him back on the waiver wire, depending on how he goes. Now, he is day-to-day, as I said, with the shoulder sprain. Now, it's just in that AC joint. It's in the left shoulder. So let's see where that goes for Kevin Huerter later in the week. Let's break down the injuries across the league. I think it's important because there has been some big news on that one. We'll break down that in a second, but we did just touch then on the big news. That is that our friend Dennis Schroeder has been traded to the Golden State Warriors. Now, we reported on this yesterday after the news broke, and these were our initial takes on here. So I thought I was going straight to the X feed. You can follow us here on X. You can follow me here. You can follow me on Blue Sky as well, and make sure you're following for all things Insight Fantasy Sports as well. We share all our news at Insight F Sports. Schroeder, he's been fantastic with the Nets. One of the reasons why their so-called tank job has not been successful in a way. He has been a top 70 player on the season, playing well. He's averaging 18 points, 6 assists per game through their first 23. They needed to get rid of him. He's happy to go to a contender. There were whisperings that he could make a move back to the Lakers. There was even some murmurs of the Clippers getting some of their young talent. And then out of nowhere, they're in negotiations. It was 37 minutes later, the report was that he was traded. So it moved very, very quickly, as these things do. But Schroeder has gone. So when we said this, you can go straight down here. We started having a bit of a chat about the winners and the losers. Mally, Skiddy, and Matrix, we were all chopping it up online and putting it in our chats. I think Shake Milton, Cam Thomas, and Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson, again, will have more of the ball. His efficiency will take a hit. Cam Thomas, not forgotten, just injured. But obviously, this is his team now, and he's made it very, very clear that he's going to be the number one offensive option in this team. So he's going to get more of a shout now as well. But Shake Milton off those guys. Keon Johnson in deeper leagues is someone we want to keep our eye on. He did start, he had his first double-digit game earlier last week. So here's someone we wanted to watch with a little bit of vague interest there whatsoever. Down, I'm talking Schroeder's value is down from this one. So it was almost, he made the sell high show a few weeks ago. This is why. Not because he was going to be traded, but if he ever did get moved, this is where he takes a hit. So he takes a hit. I see his role very similar to that heat check guy off the bench in Buddy Hield. I need to see how it plays out. We need to see how it plays out. We've got 2 Warriors games this week to see how this plays out. But also, the Warriors already in the odd rotation Steve Kerr has going on. This is a bit discombobulated at times. So we called those out as the winners and losers of that trade. So I think with that one, we can put it to bed. Let's watch it now. I'm looking at Shake Milton. I am looking at Keon Johnson as the main 2 beneficiaries. Ben Simmons as well, though. I'll put Ben Simmons out there because he is on some waiver wires. I guess he's a frequent waiver flyer this year. He sits a couple games now. I don't want to do that. I need to get a win. I'll throw him back on. You might be able to pick up Ben Simmons in your wire as well. So let's look at the injuries across the league and see what we can glean from these. Indeed, we're back into the injury report. And look, I should go back right over to the X because we did have a bit of a chat yesterday. Let's lead with this one. We don't usually do it by the, we go alphabetically. It's all very professional and alphabetical. But the big news yesterday was, of course, we had Jared McCain. He's gone down. He was the rookie sensation. So where do we turn to? Immediately, I said we look to their bench. We're going to look to Martin, Oubre, straight away, KJ Martin. And I also think Yabusele gets a little bit of a bump. These guys have just had the absolute they've had the season from hell, the Philadelphia 76ers, and just as it seemed right, this happens. Now, let's look at it here. It's a torn meniscus. You've got 2 options when you've got a torn meniscus. I've known people in basketball who play with them before, and, we're not like professional athletes. So, again, yeah, we play pickup. We play Division A, Division B basketball in Sydney. Yeah, we're professionals. No, we're not going out to get the medical care that these guys get. Now, the best case is he has this immediately fixed and he can have it repaired and he can come back in 5 to 6 weeks so that they can play with it a certain way. And then he puts it off and they'll probably get off-season tinkering. Or the worst case is he's out for much longer. They're going to have a healer, but the long way, preserve his career a little bit more, see where it goes, and he is out for the rest of the season. Do they rush him back? Well, this is the thing. We can stash him on IR, especially if you've already got a couple of guys on IL plus right now. If you've got them, you've got to have a big think about it and just wait for more of a report. We're waiting for more of a report on this as it stands this week and what's going to happen, the next steps. But he's out for the next 5 to 6 weeks. We're talking about the similar zone till they probably not rush him back, limited minutes. It's risky, but if Philadelphia can put it together, they might choose to put this to the side. So we really need the update on where it's McCain. But the immediate places we can look to in fantasy are Martin, Oubre, KJ Martin, the other Martin, by the way, because there's Cody Martin in the team as well. So just watch your Martins when you're talking about Philadelphia. And Yabusele gets a bit of a bump too. If we go through the rest of the league, let's have a look at the injuries across the league now and where we can look at for this week. Over in Atlanta, things have been pretty much smooth sailing around there. Boston, look, they're all in good health though. Let's watch injury reports though. Sunday, today's game, Al Horford is out. So we bring in guys like Luke Cornett, especially if there's any more back-to-backs for these guys later on in the week. Over in Brooklyn, it's all okay. One of their side players, Kui, is out for the season, but we're really more interested there in the results of the trade. All is good in Charlotte, obviously, apart from LaMelo Ball returning very, very soon as well. Vooch didn't play Friday in Chicago, which was interesting. Now, he had illness, so generally these guys can miss 1 or 2 games. DeAndre Ayton is a prime example of this. He missed a similar game. He was out with illness. He's missing Sunday's game as well. In this case, we saw Jalen Smith, Sticks. He had a good run. He's the guy that I bring in, especially if it's announced that Vooch will miss another game. We're watching Cleveland very interestingly. In the very short term with the sprained ankle with Mobley, Allen's going to get more of a bump. It could be if we say, you know what, let's just not rush back Mobley. We're flying high at the top of the Eastern Conference. We're right up there. Now, he missed Friday's game. With that, it was also against the Wizards with the sprained ankle, by the way. So the sprained ankle could have been a little bit exacerbated because of the quality of competition they were playing against. If it remains out and Allen performs incredibly well, like we know that he is prone to do with Mobley out, it's a sell high on Jarrett Allen straight away. And maybe send a couple of offers out if it's prolonged for Mobley and see what you can get. Now, Maxi Strus was expected to play on Friday, by the way. He didn't, but he is edging closer to a return, so we're looking for an update on Max Strus entering into week 9. He is still available on a lot of wires until he's activated. We'll see how he goes. Again, if we have an IR or IL spot, we pick him up, we place him in there while he's still active in that and he hasn't returned. We see how he goes. We bear with it. Then we can activate him and drop our worst guy. It's a nice little stash there. Jaden Hardy, Kleber, and Najee Marshall, they're all out on Sunday with ankles, ribs, and illnesses, respectively. There's a lot of flu bugs going around in the NBA. We're in Denver. All is smooth sailing, though. We did have a game time decision announced earlier in the day for Christian Brown. I did see that pop up on my Waiverwire, and I was a little bit curious by it. I'll bring it up in a second because that just hit as I went to record. He is a game time decision. There we go. Christian Brown has been moved into a game. He is with back spasms. So that is against the Kings with low back spasms. Christian Brown has just made the injury report not only just moments ago. In Detroit, Tobias Harris, he went down with a hand injury. I haven't seen much more information about that since overnight. I'm expecting it to come out earlier this week. So let's just see where it has there. And Jalen Duren was out. He has a wrist injury currently that he is carrying in. Golden State Warriors, we all know that trade has gone down there. They're all questionable for coming up this week against the Mavs. But Moses Moody, now he's missed the last 2 ones with a patella issue. And Andrew Wiggins, he's had adductor tightness in the recent weeks. So we're just looking for an update on these guys with their new rotation to see how that goes. In Houston, in the semifinals of the NBA Cup, Steven Adams went down. He had an ankle issue. He's in one game, out the next game. Let's just see where we go on Adams. We can look for more Jock Landale minutes. In the meantime, or they'll just continue to run with the absolute terror twins in Tari Eason and Amen Thompson. Going nuts over there. Indiana, Naismith and Shepard. Now they're out still, but they look to be returning in week 9. So let's watch our waiver wires for ads for Aaron Naismith in particular. I'm a little bit curious of Ben Shepard's role in Indiana, but I'm more sure that Naismith is the one that's going to get there as well. And Thomas Bryant, he has just made a list for these teams. The guy who's going to take the hit there is Obi Toppin. Unfortunately, he's been playing very well for them. This is a new backup center role. They've got another big man in the rotation. Let's see where it goes. With the Clippers, a couple of weeks for Derek Jones Jr. Amir Coffey is going to continue to eat up those minutes over there and get more fill there. So I'm just very curious to see how they do that. He's got a hamstring issue, so we can expect to see him back in the near future. In the Lakers, questionable for Sunday game against the Grizzlies is LeBron James. He looks to be playing, though, by the last injury updates that I saw just before we went to record. And Jalen Hood-Schifino still has his hamstring injury there as well. Memphis, we've got Zach Edey, Jay Huff, and Marcus Smart. They're all questionable to play against the Lakers today. We will find out what happens closer to game time with their final injury listing and see where we can go and make our adjustments for week 9. In Miami, Jovic has sprained his ankle. He was on a practice routine, I'm pretty sure it was, for them. Now, he's going to probably miss the next game, and we're going to see where he goes. Milwaukee, all is flying well ahead. And again, the NBA Cup count where you could squeeze some value for them does not matter. Joe Ingles is out for Minnesota. Not that he's really fantasy relevant right there, but in New Orleans, JRE, he's going to be out Sunday. He's, again, got a cold. Makovic is out with his back injury, and I think it's Javonte Green is still out with he's questionable with the thing, but I think it's been announced that he's out currently, but I'm waiting for that update to come through on today's schedule. Ariel Hakporti with the New York is questionable again for an ankle sprain. I think it's doubtful that he plays in this one, but we'll see what happens closer to game time. Not that we're really adding him or rushing this. All is well in Oklahoma City, apart from obviously Chet Holmgren is out, which we hate. And Gary Harris is questionable for the Orlando Magic. In Philadelphia, This is his nose. The man gets the most insufferable things. We've got like his sinus is fractured. So his nose, he's got a bung nose, Joel Embiid. So we're waiting to hear about his availability. They've always played this very interestingly. So I've got no more information about that. I thought by the time that we went to record today, I'm going to have a look at my injury. Oh no, he's officially out right now. So he's going to be officially out on Monday with that due to the right sinus fracture. So it's the right sinus, and he's now officially listed as out, Joel Embiid. So here, this is where the Yabusele ad is a really good one because he might miss more time. It starts off our week strong. So we're definitely looking to grab Yabusele to start Monday's game off and get that spot out there with the low volume games on our Monday. In Phoenix, Beal is questionable for Sunday against the Trailblazers due to the swelling. He's missed the last one as well. DeAndre Ayton, he's been at the last 2 games, including today's. And Robert Williams is questionable as he is coming back to reconditioning from his concussion protocols. Kevin Huerter, again, is day today. We mentioned him earlier with that AC joint, so we're going to look for him because he's a great ad. Him and Keon Ellis. Now, he's out. We moved to Keon Ellis as an ad, and I'll get to those guys a little bit later. Doubtful for Sunday for the San Antonio Spurs is Zachy Collins, Stephon Castle, and Trey Jones, the future backcourt after Chris Paul retires, after they get some run on there. They are questionable for Sunday's game as well, and Keldon Johnson is out with his calf injury. Nothing's going on in Utah. All smooth sailing for those guys. We're in Washington. Kuzma, Brogdon, Kispert, and Keyshawn George are all out Sunday against the Celtics, where they will get absolutely pummeled anyway. That's the weekly preview done. Let's get down to the injury preview. Let's get down to our weekly preview and how we can break down the schedule.
He's heating up.
So we went through all these games with the back-to-backs earlier in this, and we mentioned who's how many games and blah, blah, blah. Let's break it down to see how it plays out for fantasy on what games this one happens. Like, as I said, the teams with the 4 were the Sacramento Kings. Now, again, he is day today. It's Kevin Huerter. But the guy who I feel gets the most benefit if Kevin Huerter is out with that injury is Keon Ellis. So we are definitely looking to pick up and put in Keon Ellis where we can get a chance. Because the big news is this one. Sad face Jordan crying meme. There are no back-to-backs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday. Sad face Jordan crying. There is no back-to-backs. There's no cheeky little, I'm going to get the competitive edge and stream away because nothing counts up until earlier this week. So we have no streaming back-to-back options that we can be like, look, pick up a player, grab for 2 games. Easy. Sounds good. Love it. Can you do it? Absolutely not. However, there are back-to-backs on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, again, when we consider this, we have to look at the amount of games being played. There is 13 games on that Thursday. There's 12 games on that Saturday. So the first thing you need to do is check and see, do you have any roster spots availability? If you do, you can look for the Hornets and the Thunder for your Thursday, Friday. On your Friday and Saturday is the Cavs, the Heat, the Bucks, and the Sixers. This is good because what's happening then is there is no more back-to-backs to finish off the week. But like we do, we like to finish strong and we can start our week 10 well. Do we have Sunday, Monday? We absolutely do. We have the Nuggets, the Rockets, the Pacers, and the Raptors. These are all really, really good streaming options because we do have the Saturday and Sunday. We have the Pelicans and Kings as well. So we can get some Saturday and Sunday value off the Pels and the Kings the one before. So we're looking to grab as much value as we possibly can when we're getting these ads over the course of the week. Now, again, when we're doing our back-to-backs, we're looking to bring in the most value we possibly can and with our targets. So again, on the Sunday, we can bring up the ones here and we can phase into the Pelicans and the Kings. They do have that Saturday, Sunday back-to-back. And again, off the strength of schedule, on the Saturday, there is the 12 and the Sunday is the 3. So who can we pull in here? Guys, look, I'm not sure who we can bring in with the Pelicans anymore. Their rotation's been a disaster. But what I am looking forward to getting is some Eve Missy. I know I've seen Missy dropped in a couple of leagues, which I thought was absolutely abysmal. But I'm looking through the waiver wire at my deepest league now of 20. So sometimes what I like to do is I like to go up and I'm looking through, and I'm doing it live right now. What I go is I go by team and I go by NBA team, and I look to see the guys who are the most available for these teams. And again, this is one that I've gone into. This is the War Games where a whole bunch of analysts are in, and I hit the guys up for the Kings. And this is how dark it gets. It's Keon Ellis, who, again, I love with Kevin Huerter being out. This is a 16-man team. So you're probably going to have a better chance in your 12s or your 10s of a Keon Ellis or a Kevin Huerter. But Doug McDermott and Jay Crowder being relevant again, that's kind of it. Trey Lyles, we know, he's injured and out, but this is where it gets kind of dark. That's for the Sacramento Kings. So let's go, all right, fine. What about the Pelicans? Alvarado, injured. Hawkins, injured. Javonte Green, who we know was on the injury report, is the only next best option for these guys. Jeremiah Robinson-Earl is out. So this is now where we're really, really trying to cram it in. So what we want is we want to hit that Monday up, definitely get the first game out of the week, rest for the next two, and if we can squeeze value where our opponents are going to be chockers. So if we have a free spot and we know our opponent has a full game schedule, which they likely do, that's where we want to make the most bank. That's where we want to make our move. So if we check our opponent's schedule as well, I like to do that. How many games have they got? Because we're going to be looking to make sure that we make our ads straight away after Monday games finish, so we can set our lineups ready for Thursday and Friday, attack our Thursday, and also getting that Friday, Saturday, or that Thursday, Friday back-to-back value. That's going to be good because this comes down now to the quality of games. So teams who are playing on Friday, Monday, and Sunday, like the teams who are getting like the most volume games out of it, we can get them in here for the most volume, are the Hornets, the Cavs, the Nuggets, the Heat, the 76ers, the Kings, and the Raptors. So guys like Ochai Agbaji come in. Kelly Olynyk comes into the playoff. And this is where I'm going to finish up the app with my targets. So my targets for the week with this considered are Kevin Huerter or Keon Ellis. As I said, Kevin Huerter is all poised on his injury availability. He is day-to-day currently. If he is out, Keon Ellis is the move. But again, he might just miss the first game of the week. So I bring in Keon Ellis. If he's still there, it's because of the injury. I use Keon. I get Keon back out if we hear that it's okay, that he was close to playing. He was in the shoot around, but it was still a bit sticky. Fair. We can move him out of our rotation. The next one I'm looking for is probably Kelly Olynyk there and Ochai Agbaji with Toronto. In Charlotte, I am looking for Nick Richards. For Philadelphia, I am looking for, here I'm going with Cody Martin and Yabusele as my guys who are like, especially on the back of that heels of the injury news for Joel Embiid being out. I definitely do like a lot more action for Yabusele this coming week, and I am searching for him right now. Here we go. I am putting him into a lineup as we speak. And with the Cavs, I do like Karis LeVert and Ty Jerome, and also Maxi Strus. Maxi Strus, if he is still available in our leagues on that injury report on the waiver wire, and he is actually. Here's an interesting one. I'm going to actually find out right now. Here he is. I know he's been stashed. He is 8% rostered. Maxi Strus is 8% rostered. He's gone up 2% in the last week. So what I'm immediately doing is I'm looking to add him into an IL spot, see where he goes, put it in. His stat line profile is very friendly. Last year, in a similar team where he's going to be less thing, he was averaging 12, 4, and 4. And almost 1.5 stocks a game. His averages can hurt you just a little bit as well, but if you're in one of those punt field goal percentage builds, he's a really good asset to bring in. So I'm definitely doing the cheeky and adding Maxi Strus into my IR or IL spots almost immediately. Those are my targets. That's the Week 9 preview, all in under 25 minutes. Make sure you like and subscribe to all the things and get involved in our Patreon. We have exclusive content coming your way, and you can ask us anything, and we can help you with your lineup.
Want to take your fantasy sports game to the next level? Insight Fantasy Sports are bringing you exclusive content all year round, such as preseason draft guides, player rankings, waiver wire advice, statistical deep dives, priority podcast questions, and tons more. So what are you waiting for? Get full access to the experts. Go to patreon.com/Insight Fantasy Sports and subscribe to Insight Unlimited today.
And a big shout out to our sponsors as well, the Standard Squeeze, where you can get 15% off with code IFS15 for all your travelers, your keepers, your apparel. Christmas is soon. Make sure you get your orders in now. Hit up Ash and the team right there. They are the perfect, especially if you're making a road trip. I know that we're heading away for the holidays, 6-hour drive down to the Albury-Wodonga borderline into the borderlands of New South Wales and Victoria. I can assure you the 4-in-1s will be in hand for that trip, keeping our drinks cool or hot along the whole entire way. Big shout out to them and our Standard Squeeze family, and to you and your families, and to you and yours. Make sure you like and subscribe to all the things right now. Just bang the video, bang and subscribe, set the notifications, do it up. We'll catch you soon. Overnight, tomorrow, we've got our must adds for the week and some watch list dudes coming your way. Take care, everyone. Be well.